God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up. God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up, level up, level up. Go. Everything, that means everything. Eyes connected to everything. And that's why I'm in everything. All eyes on me, all eyes on everything. That means everything. Eyes connected to everything.
And that's why you did great.
Thanks, bud.
John will be proud.
Yay!
Father John will be proud. He would.
He really would. Shout out to John.
Yeah, safe travels home, brother. He had a great time in Germany. I seen the videos. Oh my God. Did you see the church one?
No, I didn't see the church one yet, but I know that it looked like he was having an amazing time, girl.
Hi, Jessica C. How are you?
Oh my God. Hey, boo.
Oh, thank you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, honey bunny.
Yay.
This is things that people don't want to talk about. Hey, Joan B. That's a beautiful picture.
That is.
This is things that people don't want to talk about. Woo, this is God level. I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a mother. I'm a nurse. I'm an aunt. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I'm a Gigi. I am everything good. Ivy, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
I feel like I should represent for John since he's not here. It feels off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've got 5 hip hop albums. Count them, 5.
His music is actually playing in the background. If you ever hear anything, we're just playing the instrumental of one of his 5 albums.
Yes, just in case you didn't know. But yes, so shout out to our brother John, who is out doing John things. I'm your girl, Inattentive Ivy, coming to you straight from the PNW. I'm Inattentive Ivy on TikTok because I talk about ADHD, mental health issues, and all the things. And that's kind of like my platform. I'm owner of all 46 of these doggone hamsters. Those are my little ADHD traits. And from what I'm understanding, a couple of them are popping out to different people's houses. So if you see a hamster, collect it, send it back. But yes, representing, I'm here to keep it a buck, right? Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. Jalen, I'm sorry. It was private she was asking me where's the podcast at, and it's private on my page, but I just opened it up. It's public now, and it's been pinned to the top. So if you want to stop in and watch, come on with it.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh,
girl,
this one.
I ripped the Band-Aid off. That's the way I kind of think about it.
How to heal after a narcissistic relationship. I'm fresh.
Girl.
I'm fresh. Throw up that first question. Let's go.
You was like, we ain't wasting no time.
We ain't wasting no time. It's us. Let's do this.
That is facts. Okay, so if you're just now tuning in, this is part 2 of the narcissism kind of series that we did. And last week we talked about define what narcissistic personality disorder kind of is. And this week we're talking about how do we heal? And we can also kind of run it back. So I wanted to run it back to talk about, like, let's first discuss what is narcissism, because some people think it's kind of like a catchphrase these days. It's like, oh, narcissism is a hot topic.
It is not. It's a serious mental illness.
Come on, girl.
Rampant. I'm sorry. Let's just call it what it is. It is a serious mental illness. These people, women and men, walk around. They don't feel anything. They're actually broken. Something happened to them, whether it was in their younger days, older, but something happened to them to put them in a position where they tell themselves that everything that they do is okay, even if they know they're hurting someone else, as long as they're getting what they want their father. And this is men and women. We cannot leave the women out of this. There's women narcissists out there too as well. But go ahead. I'm gonna stop talking.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and play and play the intellectual for John because John is not here and he normally comes with facts, right? So I'm going to go ahead and read off. Narcissists have a specific list of traits that they kind of manifest and just like show, right? So the first one is grandiosity. The next one is seeking admiration, manipulative behavior, lack of empathy, sensitivity to criticism, entitlement, vanity and materialism, and emotional volatility. Girl, look, so let's go ahead and bring out that first and that second one, right? And I'm going to admit something. I'm going to admit something here because I have no problem with saying that I have healed from a lot of my own personal stuff, right?
There you go.
First, like when I came out of my first narcissistic relationship, I just wanted to live in the pain of it. This is not right. Blah, 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 blah. I should, somebody should treat me better. Da, 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 da. And one of the things that kind of just like, this kind of got to me is realizing that I have to treat myself better.
Right.
That was my entitlement. Like the entitlement that I quote unquote expected to get from that other person is really the entitlement that I needed to treat myself better. And then I wouldn't have gone looking for that unsafe dynamic in somebody else.
Codependency.
Yeah. Man, codependency is something else, man. We can go ahead and get started talking about that one. But let's just go ahead and stick with girl. Listen, anybody want to call in and talk about what narcissism is?
Yeah.
Talk about their experiences.
Put the number up there. Put the number up there.
Hold on.
Because it is real. When it came to my at the ending of my narcissistic relationship, I was his friend. I was literally his friend, and I watched this man day in and day out, and I was just like, wow. And I listened to him, and I wasn't being treated well, but I allowed him to chip away at everything I felt for him till one day there was nothing left. I haven't.
Yeah,
I feel bad for him. We were just talking about this prior to coming on. I thank him for showing me what a narcissistic man is. Now I know what to look out for because I did not know that they exist. I knew something was wrong. I knew something was off. Like, how do you treat a person like they're nothing? And at first I thought it was just me, but then when I paid attention to him, I realized he don't care about nobody, including himself.
He can't. Okay, so a couple of months maybe now, we started. Jacob came on because we were talking about remember we were talking about the ego.
Yes.
Right. We were talking about is the ego your enemy, right?
Ooh,
girl. And the ego, and I loved what he said on there because he said your ego is your false self, right? They're the person that you create to feel like it keeps you safe. The reason why narcissists cannot have any empathy for another person is because their ego is so strong and is so built up and is so defensive. They literally, in order to put themselves in the shoes of another person, they would have to lose that ego. And that ego has been, quote unquote, keeping them safe for years, right? Yes, ma'am.
They would actually have to feel.
Yes, ma'am.
They don't want to confront those feelings.
Yes, ma'am.
They don't want to feel any type of pain, any type of hurt, any type of disappointment. They don't know how to deal with it. They really don't. You hurt a narcissist, you have an enemy for life. They will hold that grudge.
They will hold the grudge. They will literally, it's everybody else's fault except for theirs. Like they can't take responsibility for,
never. A narcissist will never take accountability for anything they have done to you until they wake up and acknowledge that something is actually wrong with them. You are the problem. She is the problem. He is the problem. Everybody else is the problem except for them. To put that mirror. Girl, they will hate you for that.
Yeah. You want to hear?
You better do it. You better do it eloquently too. I
So
did. Yeah, go
you
ahead.
can't do it eloquently.
Oh, you have to. I didn't cuss. I didn't cuss. I just read them well. I said, "This is you. This is what you do." I've had time to sit back and watch and observe and study you. This is you. This is what you do. Go
And
ahead.
even if you bring it to a narc, they
Mm-hmm.
still can't. They have the inability to take accountability for it.
Oh,
And I used to think, because I was so just attached to the, I can't believe that somebody is treating me like this. Like that was my own wound, right? Yeah, I was so wrapped up in why is this person treating me bad that I forgot to realize that what it was is it was a lack of me being in touch with myself.
mm-hmm.
So
That too.
just,
And
and
and wanting that love.
girl,
People
and
know how to
wanting to
love
love.
Bob. They know how to love Bob. They know how to be the perfect person. They will remind you of things they know that you like. Oh, girl.
Girl, listen, but the thing is, and they do that for a reason, because they're not trying to they're doing that to try to get into your good graces. They're not trying to get to know who you authentically are, because authenticity is foreign. Authenticity is it's scary. You can't
Mm-hmm.
control authenticity, right? You can't, because people are just, oh girl, craziest part, you can try to pull a them on them and they have amnesia. They have amnesia because it didn't matter to them, because it did not give them the validation hits. You know what I'm saying? It didn't prop up their ego. It didn't prop up yeah, it didn't prop up the things that that it didn't prop up that false mask, that grandiosity. It didn't prop up that vainness. It didn't prop up that they're seeking admiration, not love.
There you go.
They want somebody to admire
Image.
them, not love them.
Image. It's
Yes,
all about
it's
image.
all about the image. Yeah. So
Everything outside of the home is image. Inside of the home, they are a fucking nightmare.
girl,
It's
and
more, it's
yeah,
not a physical abuse, it's mental and emotional abuse.
yeah. Yeah, and that's the most insidious part about it, because I'm like, and I say it all the time. I'm like, when I think about the narcissistic, abusive relationships and entanglements that I've been in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like looking back at it, I used to be like, I'd rather you just hit me. I'd rather you literally, especially if you were a man,
Heard women say that.
take your fist and punch me in the face.
I'll
It's
heal from
easier
that
to
in a couple
explain.
of days.
It's easier to explain. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
But the
And
mental, the emotional, how do you heal from all of that?
ooh, girl, let me bring that up,
How do you
because
heal from all of that? When looking back on your relationship with that narcissist, where do you begin to heal? Number one, no contact.
okay, so first, yes, no contact is so much easier to explain, right? It's easier to explain than to actually do. The
Yeah.
first thing is make yourself aware of what you're dealing with, right? Because sometimes you don't even know what you're doing. You're just like, wait, this stuff is crazy. Like this doesn't even make sense to me. Like
Yeah.
I literally, it's called the crazy maker, right? Like being
Yeah.
gaslit and all that kind of good stuff. It was crazy
Ooh.
making. It was crazy
Ooh.
making. So the very, very first part of my education was understanding what I was dealing with.
Yeah. Study them.
Then,
Put
yes.
your
And
feelings
I
to the
was,
side. Put your feelings for that person to the side and just watch them. Just observe day in and day out how they talk, the tone, how they move, conversations. And keep in mind, they're not dumb people. They're very smart. They're very intelligent, but watch them. And you will see it for yourself. Like, oh my God.
yeah.
Put your feelings to the side and watch them.
Yes, yes, Lord.
Yeah,
And so I'm just putting that up there.
go
Mary
ahead.
said it's so much easier to explain than to
It
actually
is.
do. And that's right, because like for real, so I'm just going to give you like how I healed, right? My first was to realize what I was dealing with, right? And this went out of order.
Yeah,
This
it
went
did.
out of
Okay,
it.
go ahead.
Yeah, it goes out of order. And the second part was to accept. That was the hardest part, was to accept that it was happening. And acceptance doesn't mean that something is good or bad. It just means that it is, without trying to give judgment to it, and just being able to say, this person was a narcissist in my life. This person hurt me a lot. And I have to understand that what is past, and I can't change any of the stuff that passed, because I know for a lot of the stuff that used to happen, I was like, why am I so dumb? Why did I believe that? Why did I beat the shit out of myself?
Yeah, do not do that. Give yourself grace. Give yourself the same grace that you gave them for the period of time that you dealt with them. Come on now. On and off for 6 years. On and off for 6 years. I have to give myself grace moving forward. I acknowledge what I've been through. Do not get me wrong. It's hard because sometimes you see something and hear something and you get triggered. But you have to remember that how they treated you was not just a reflection on you. It was more so on them.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, they are broken human beings.
Yes. And I see you, Jess, and I understand, girl.
Yeah, honey, take that energy that you were giving them and trying to convince them, hey, I'm here, I'm in your corner, and give it to yourself.
Yep.
Turn it around, give it to yourself. Go ahead. Love, shine. Acceptance is important.
Man, acceptance is like paramount. And let's go. I'll tell you, there are a couple more steps that are in there. It's kind of recognizing one of after you
take your time. Take your time, baby.
I'm gonna say this, and I don't know if it's gonna hit the way that it hit me. Mm-hmm. Because some people, if they're not necessarily ready to hear it, it might be like, right? When I finally realized that I was allowing these narcissistic relationships to happen, I had to recognize what was in me, right? What was, yes, Love Shine, yes, I'm gonna go ahead and put that up there. Yes, what was in me that made me susceptible to that, right?
Yeah.
And when I learned that, I always knew that I was codependent, right? Mm-hmm. And when I learned that codependency is just the flip side of narcissism, that thing tore me up, y'all. That thing tore me up.
Last week, it tore me up. I went to bed, I went and laid down like, that was me. That was me.
Yes.
And that was me. Like, I felt like I needed him. Like, and that's why I endured it for so long, because I felt like I needed him. The way he presented himself to me in the beginning, the whole time, all I wanted to do was get back to that. Mm-hmm. All I wanted him to do was just wake up and realize I'm here. But that is definitely not the case. Oh my God,
Miosha.
Oh, Moshi. That's oh my God.
Mimi. Maybe that's my niece. Hi, baby. Hey, bro. There's a quote I heard that said, "You date at the level of your self-esteem." Come on, man. Come on, because you don't think that you deserve any better.
Man. Mm-hmm. And the things that I went through, the things that I've endured, I said, all right, I have to accept that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here is where it started to just like, oh, it's almost like, yes, let's go ahead and talk about this. Let's go. Janine, because I mean, you just wrecked shop with that.
You really did. Hamlet. You really did, because that's what it is. Because you want that high that you had in the beginning when everything was so new, so fresh, so intense, sex amazing. You want that. You want that understanding that the mask.
The mask. They wanted to know everything about you because they wanted to become who they could become for you. So that if they were everything to you, you're not going to go outside and expect to get anything from any place else. You're going to stay right there. And let's go ahead and keep this a buck. I'm going to go ahead and speak for myself. I'm ADHD as fuck. Y'all already know this. I'm ADHD as hell. And when I realized that there is a link between ADHD and narcissism, That shit broke me up too. Because okay, so we get dopamine from anything
Mhm,
that's novelty, that's
mhm,
new,
mhm,
anything that, like, you know what I'm saying.
mhm. Yeah.
And the fact that these narcissists were paying me all the attention, they were attending to that abandonment wound that I didn't want to realize, to recognize, right? I didn't want.
Mhm,
Yeah. Yes, thank you. I didn't want to recognize that. I didn't want to do the work on that, right?
mhm.
So, and I just they kept breadcrumbing, and I kept putting that little crumb of bread right back in that slot, hoping that I could pull that lever and it was going to shoot out exactly what I wanted. And the thing is that I didn't take the time to heal for myself. So I
Mhm.
expected for somebody else to heal me. Oh, right. So narcissists were just like, and I'm the type of person where I'm aloof as hell. Like, me getting to
Mhm.
know somebody slowly, I'm just like, oh, okay, you cool. And like, if a narcissist is going to love bomb you, they are going to sledge you over the
Oh,
head with
oh,
everything. They're
yes.
gonna, I mean, I'm talking all the trips, I'm gonna buy you your favorite things. I'm gonna take you to your favorite places. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna ask you questions like, oh, what do you think about this? And what do you think about this? And make you feel important when they really don't give a fuck about any of that. They just want to try to get information from you because
And
they're trying to figure out how they can get you to love them.
it all started with a conversation. I'll never
Go ahead,
forget
girl.
it. I was laying in bed. I was watching Game of Thrones, maybe for the third or fourth time. I don't know, but we were texting back and forth, and it was pretty dry. And then he said
Mm-hmm.
something. He asked me a question, and I sat straight up in bed. I'll never forget it. I was like, "Oh my god, this is somebody I could actually have a real conversation with," and that was the
Mm.
beginning of the end.
Mm. Yep, because
That
he
was
he
the
feigned
beginning.
interest in, yeah, he feigned interest in what you were,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And they will remind you throughout the relationship or non-relationship how they know you.
Girl, girl, and try to, oh girl, listen. So
And
I
then you
have
be
never.
sitting there thinking like, you still remember that? Yeah, because I got to make sure I keep you hooked. Come on, keep going.
Child, and you know something, and then once you are hooked, once you are hooked on that person as a drug, because let's go ahead and keep it a buck.
I'm done.
Let's go ahead and keep it a buck. Once you are hooked on that false validation, on that mask, that person being everything that you thought that they could possibly be,
Man,
and once you are hooked on that drug, it's hard to come off that shit.
it sure
It's
is.
literally like it's like pick it, like somebody said, it's like gambling. Gambling is an
Mhm.
addiction,
It is.
and
What she say, it's almost
emotion,
like gambling. You keep putting into the machine, hoping it was going to hit. You deal and you deal and you
child,
deal and you deal and you deal, hoping that they're going to wake up and go back to being the person who you first fell in love with, not
but
knowing it was
they
nothing more than a mask.
they were never there. That person that you fell in love with was never there.
They
That
don't
person was.
exist.
They don't exist. They don't exist. So how do you heal from that? Let me keep this a buck. And I don't know if somebody's going to feel offended, but that's perfectly fine because this is what I had to do with me, right? I
Okay.
had to take a second, right? And realize that the reason why I was not healing myself is
Mhm.
because I felt like if I just pour more, pour more, pour more into this person, then this person is going to help me heal. You can't put a band-aid on somebody else when you're bleeding and expect for that to heal you. And it was all the stuff that I wasn't willing to confront within myself. Come on, girl.
Let's talk about it.
Let's go ahead and
Let's
talk about
talk
it,
about
because
it.
it was the stuff that I was not willing to see
To
within myself.
myself, yeah. Are you
I
happy
would,
with yourself? Is someone dating a narcissist actually happy with themselves? Because if they are, they would not be dating someone who is mentally and emotionally abusive.
not necessarily, you can't necessarily say that, because a lot of women,
Okay.
they go into these relationships and they're whole when they first get there, and they think, haha, and like they'll have it together, right? And they will be happy, happy, because
Th-
they are unaware and ignorant of the fact that there is something called narcissism out there, right?
like myself in the beginning,
Mm,
I didn't
mm,
know, but you
mm.
just said something. I was happy when I met him.
Yes, ma'am.
Literally. I was focused, I was driven. I was making plans to move to Houston, Texas, which I still end up doing. Um, Bought a new car, walked onto a Mercedes lot and bought a new car with no money down.
And you know the reason why
I
that
was
all of
focused.
that, all of that right there. Let me go ahead and break this down.
Go ahead.
You had you, right? You had
Yes.
you. And a friend today, whoo, man, she broke
Yes.
that thing down. She was like, you got to understand, even if we don't want to speak on it, relationships are transactional, right? Relationships are transactional. So what is it that the narcissist is getting from you? The narcissist sees this is a person who has it together. They have something that I don't necessarily have that I want to capture and own for myself, right? So what I'm going to do, instead of being like it's transactional where it's an equal push pull relationship, right? Or is I give, you give, like that whole entire thing, I'm just going to take. I'm just going to take. So we can't necessarily say that women or men who get narcissistically abused are not happy, because obviously they had to have something going on within themselves. You know, they had something that looked attractive to
Yeah.
to that narcissistic person, or to
Yeah.
that hurt person. So how do you heal? You heal because in way down deep inside of me, there was stuff that I hadn't dealt with. I hadn't dealt with the grief from my mom passing. I hadn't dealt with I hadn't dealt with the grief of how I grew up. I hadn't dealt with feeling like I had abandoned God and God had abandoned me. Girl, there was so many levels to this. I hadn't dealt with the fact that I felt entitled. I didn't even want to say, like, I felt, and it's not really nice for me to admit about myself, but in this state that I am right now, I have
Yeah.
to accept the good and
And
the light and the dark.
you
You
got
know what I'm
to.
saying? And
You
I
got
didn't want to admit to myself that I had done selfish things. It was, I'm going to pour this into you because I want and need you to love me. That's the codependency. That's how it showed up. I'm going to pour all of this. I'm going to abandon myself because I need you to love me. I'm going to abandon myself because I need you to love. Can you hear what that sounds like?
yeah, man.
Oh my God, girl. Come on. I'm going to
But
shut up. Go ahead,
let
girl.
me focus on you. I
But let me focus on you, not with no return. Let me focus on you because you need to love me. And when I finally recognized that, and I was like, ooh, ooh.
you said something. You had unhealed trauma. You go back and you look at these podcasts. During this 6 years of dealing with him, all of those topics was my unhealed trauma.
Mm.
One by one, after dealing with each and every last one of them, and then him being the last of it, it's like, whew, where do we go from here now?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do we
Yes,
go from
ma'am.
here now?
What were the topics that stuck out? Like, what was the thing that kind of brought you to,
The trauma with
like,
my mother,
ooh,
the
come
abuse
on,
with
man.
my mother, the abuse that I suffered growing up in the home as a child.
Man.
That's all of it. And I had to deal with that one by one. I was opening up stuff that I had buried for years because I thought I was, take a hit and keep on moving no. Yeah.
Without taking it. Jalen, thank you for sharing that. I was
Was
happy, but
happy,
it
but
feel
it
like he's,
slowly chipped away at me over the years. Yeah.
yeah, that's what they
Till
do because, yeah,
there's nothing left. Like I don't even know who you are now. I mean, I know who you are, but
you know the reason why they chip away? They chip away because they only have room for ego. They don't have any room for grace for their dark. They don't have any room for it. And because they don't want to say that you are a mirror, you know what I'm saying? And that they love the stuff that they see in you, but
mhm.
yet they hate it too because they could never be it. So what they do is they chip away at your self-esteem. I don't have the best voice in the world. I can admit to that, right? I can hold a
Mhm.
tune in the bag.
I love that. Go
I can
ahead.
hold a tune in the bag because I'm real honest with myself.
There you
Every
go.
day, every day I used to hear from my very last relationship, oh, you can't sing. You can't sing. I don't even know why you're doing this shit. I don't even know why you're going to karaoke. Why are you doing this to yourself? Oh, you're really not that great of a mother. You really wasn't a great wife. Yeah.
The mental abuse,
The
mental and
mental abuse.
emotional abuse. They're not
And I,
physical. They're rarely physical. They're mental. It's the mental and the emotional abuse that you will get from them. Mm.
yep. Yeah. And if
Oh,
I am now in a place where I realize the reason why I stayed around for that is because I didn't give myself any grace. I was never able to give myself any grace. Let's go ahead and keep it a black people. If you grew up in a black household, what was your parent giving? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're good, baby, unless you do something.
then you was getting tore down.
Yeah, you know. So there wasn't any space for the goodness.
We
There wasn't. Yeah, go ahead, mom.
we talked about this, me and John. Because he asked me. He said, "Why do you love him?" And I was like, "Because he feels like home." But when you go back and you think about home, what was home like? Home was abusive.
Girl,
It
come
was a
on,
lot
man.
of abuse, mental, emotional, and physical abuse, all of which I've had to get to this tender age in my 40s. I ain't gonna tell y'all how old I am. I'm gonna keep that to
Girl,
myself. But to
I'll
get to
tell
this
anybody.
tender age, you know, and finally deal with that one by one, that was the reason why I was so attached to him.
Yep. Yeah.
God. You
Yes, man.
When walking away from a narcissist, you have to start to heal from within.
You do. You do. And for the
That
longest time,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead, mom. Go ahead. You got it.
That lack of love that you was giving yourself because you was too busy pouring into him, you need to reverse that and start giving it back to yourself and see how much better you feel about you when you get up in the morning.
Now, let's go ahead and get into like how I want to point this out, right?
Okay.
One of the things that I had to kind of recognize, right? I had to humble myself. And I thought that I was so humble, girl. I was like, what? Little old me. I'm not that important. I wasn't that important. But it was a false ego. It was, oh, I'm not worth anything. I'm God's creation, but I'm not worth enough for me to spend time on myself. It was like that, almost like that reverse, um I am a bad person, and so I'm just going to victimize myself over and over again, right? But
And
really
fix
not
other
getting to
people
the
around
core.
me.
Woo, child.
And fix other people around me.
I'm going to fix
Or
everybody
try to fix,
else
yeah, except for me.
because
Woo!
that's what's going to give me a hit. Because if I fix them, then I've got to be worth something. When really I am God's creation and I'm already
You
worth
already worth it.
everything. I'm worth everything already.
You already worth it.
Already. All my light and my shade, all of it. I don't have to do, you don't have to, if you're listening right now, you don't have to do anything extra to be worth it. Right?
You're worth it.
I mean, and the thing is, oh
Mm.
my god. Yes, Marilyn. Yes, come on, girl. Unhealthy humbling. Facts. It was unhealthy. It was shaming myself for being human. Because in my house, I was not allowed to be human. I had to be perfect. I had to be good. And I dealt with perfectionism. Everything had to be perfect. Right? And if I wasn't perfect, then that means that I just had to, right. And so finally recognizing that God loves me, universe loves me, creator loves me, Gaia loves me, Buddha loves everybody. This thing, this collective thing, I am still loved. I am loved just because I am a part of the human experience. It's helped to heal that. So I'm able to accept my shit now. Oh, come on, girl.
What is there's something as simple as me putting on light daily makeup, bath and body spray. Anything I wanted to do for myself was a problem.
Because you were detracting from him.
They want all of the attention.
They have to. They have to have all of it because that means control and dominance.
And you will try to give it to them. Do you know how much
Mm-hmm.
since this man has been gone? Do you know how much sleep I didn't had? You know how much
Sleeping better.
peace I didn't had since this man has been gone? Like I now at first I went through whatever I went through, I eat my emotions, and then one day I just woke up and I was like, you know what, I'm done with that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on. I'm done with
Mm-hmm.
that. Let's move on. Like I'm not running around worried about what does he need? Does he need anything? Did he eat? Is he okay? Let me check on him. I'm looking in the mirror like, Renee, what do you want to do now?
Ooh, come on, girl. Come on, girl. Come on.
Renee, you deserve a new look. Renee,
There
let's
you
start
go.
eating healthy. Renee, let's go back to school. Renee, let's just focus on you. Renee, just wallow in this peace of mind.
I
Go,
gotta share
go
because
ahead.
one of the things that I was raised in is, you remember, I don't know if you ever like grew up in the church, but the Bible verse, a virtuous woman is worth far more than rubies, right? And I was taught that a virtuous woman subsumes herself for her man. You lift your man up. You take care of the kids so he can go home and he can work on his career. You subsume yourself to make sure that he's got a hot meal in the morning and that he's got clothes pressed and that he's got everything. I don't know. I don't have any dreams. I'm not allowed to have dreams because I'm a woman. And my whole entire existence is supposed to be made to cater to whoever that my man is, right? And I lost me. I didn't know. Let's go ahead and talk about, I didn't lose me. I never got me. Past high school, I never got me. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. Yes. Come on, ma.
Oh
How
wow.
come on.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
I'm gonna go ahead and keep this a buck. I am still working through my issues
Yeah.
with the institution of the Black American Church because of that. Not Christians, not necessarily the people. Oh, girl, come on, come on. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
put that up there. I'm
Yes,
sorry. Go ahead.
go right ahead because I was taught that I was supposed to be everything for this man. And oh,
Behind a
let's talk
great man
about.
is a greater woman.
Come on,
That's
man.
that man.
And let's talk about how I didn't think I was anything because I was not everything to my husband or
Like
to these.
we're raised to worship men instead of learning at an early age how to love ourselves.
How wonderful you are just because you're born too.
There you
Just
go.
because you're born.
How
So the
beautiful
first
you
thing,
are. Yeah. Mhm.
yes. So the first thing, oh, okay. So the first thing is getting in, reconnecting with yourself. I'm big old age. I don't care about telling nobody my age. I'm 47. I'm the big ass age of 47. I will be 48 in August, and goddamn it, if I don't look good,
Nobody.
I tell everybody because I look good. Okay,
Hey,
but I will say that it took me so much. You're so crazy. I can't with you.
you heard that.
I did. Look, my ADHD was ADHD, but the hamster, he kind of was like,
Caught it.
got
Yeah.
it. But I will say that that it took me some years to actually. It
Yeah.
took me years of covering myself, and I'm just gonna go ahead and keep this about too. Everybody that was around me was covering
Mhm.
their feelings, their emotions, stuffing all them things down, not really necessarily dealing with themselves, not connected to who they really were because they
Oh,
felt
say
they
that.
had it. Come on, man.
Say that.
What? You know what I'm
Say that.
saying? So yeah, it was a thing.
If you can get out of that relationship and still be intact, you won. If you are moving forward, if you are loving on yourself, if you are healing yourself after being in that relationship, you won. You won. You can come back from anything, from the mental abuse, the emotional abuse, the gaslighting, talking down, the disregard, the disrespect. You can come back from that.
You
Please know
can.
it.
You can.
Please know it.
But I will quote this, and I always quote this. The amount a person can heal is proportional to the shit that they can hear about themselves and not run away. If
There
you
you go.
cannot hear some funky truths
Oh
about
man.
the patterns that you have engaged in that were not so healthy, if you cannot hear the dark along with the light, now you got to take the dark with the light. And I want to make sure that people know the light is so important. And when I first started my recovery work, I just wanted to focus on the dark, but probably because of the fact that I just hadn't been really exposed to that, you know, in the beginning. I was living in
Right.
Lulu for a little bit, but I
Yeah.
will definitely say that you have to be able to accept some shit about yourself. And acceptance means it doesn't mean that it's good or bad. It just is. You got to be able to accept some stuff with you, because at the end of the day, it was never about the narcissist. We found each other. I found my narcissist because of the fact that I was living within myself in a toxic dynamic, inside of my body in a toxic dynamic. I was living in that. You see what I'm saying? And then when I finally learned better, I knew better. And you can't put that genie back in the bottle. You can't put that toothpaste back in the tube once you learn some different ways. Yeah. And we can blame everybody. Of course, I blamed my parents for a long time. But something also that I was told is that my parents had me from 0 to 18, right?
Right.
At 18, with whatever it is that you learn, it's up to me. It is up to me to heal from my traumas and my triggers, to recognize my triggers. And I need to go ahead and put this out there. Healing from your triggers doesn't mean just saying, okay, I know what my triggers are and I'm just going to let them be. Recognizing your triggers and your patterns and deciding to do something different when those triggers and those patterns are before you, that is the healing. That's the healing. Hey, Sir Major Witherspoon.
I want to go back to something that you said, that we only heal as much as we can tolerate. Well, not gonna say tolerate, but hear the parts that are ugly about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I have a sister. Her name is Danielle Williams Robin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She has no problem with telling me the truth about myself. None whatsoever. As much as it hurts, I endure because I need to hear it. I need to hear it. I love that woman. Please send her positive energy right now. Go ahead.
I got 3 on deck at all times, and 2 of them are in the chat right now.
That's what's
on
up.
Deck at all times, who I know are going to keep it 100, funky, disgusting, and nasty with me.
Yeah.
And I value, oh my gosh, I value those relationships.
Yeah. Don't lie to me. And that brings me to this. The people surrounded by the narcissist are enabling them to be who they are by not calling them out on their shit.
They're called flying monkeys.
They're everywhere. No, I'm saying.
They are, I mean, for real. Literally, they are called flying monkeys.
Yes. And most of them don't even know they're a flying monkey.
Girl. And you know something? I'm going to tell you, the reason why you have to have people who are going to call you out is because I'm going to be honest with myself. I wasn't able to see my stuff because I was so entrenched in my hurt. Right? I wasn't able to see myself for not only the destruction that I was doing to the people who I love, but to myself. I was not able to see it. And I wanted to press up against it because what was being pressed was my ego, my abandonment wounds, my trauma, all of the shit that I decided that I did not want to deal with. And that's the reason why the narcissists were allowed in my life, because I didn't want to deal with my bullshit, right? I didn't want to deal with it. I just wanted people to just tell me what I wanted to hear. I wanted that narcissist to tell me, you're okay. You're perfect just the way that you are. But man, let's go ahead and keep this a buck, man. Everybody got some shit with them. Everybody got demons they fighting.
Everybody. Everybody.
Come on.
Thank you for that. Oh my God,
You,
I don't even know
you're
what to
welcome,
say now.
Mama.
I
You,
honestly don't.
we
So
can
I
go
want
to
to
this.
speak to my women, my
Mm,
black women especially. I know they tell us all the time, they put out that we're strong, we're strong, we're strong, we're strong, we're strong. It's okay not to be strong. Deal with that shit. Deal with that shit. You know, deal with that. Don't I have a thing to where I take a hit and keep on moving. And then when I get up in this age, all that hits that I took comes back for acknowledgement. And when you start to uncover all of that, it'll mess you up mentally. You got to be strong. Deal with shit. Go ahead, because you're getting ready to say something. Go ahead.
my sisters, we are dying. We're not dying from heart disease, from high cholesterol, from diabetes, from high blood pressure. We are dying from the effects of non-resolved trauma. We are dealing from the effects of non-emotional sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
We are dying from subsuming ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Marilyn Boo Boo. First of all, this is my ace right here. This one of them.
Hey, Marilyn.
This is my mother
The
ace. Do
mental
you hear me?
exhaustion is real. Yes, it is, baby.
And you know the reason why the mental exhaustion from getting into yourself, it hurts because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And people,
And
we
you
we
have to.
we, we want to be comfortable. We want to be comfortable. But in order
Mhm.
to heal, healing is different.
It
We
is.
picked up all of that bad, no, excuse me, not bad. We picked up all of those unhealthy coping mechanisms,
Yeah.
and it took years to do it. So in
Yeah.
order to think and do a different way, we've got to do stuff that's uncomfortable.
Right.
And healing mentally is uncomfortable. But it has to be done because if that trauma sits in your body, you have high cholesterol, you have high
Blood pressure.
cortisol,
Yeah.
girl, you have high blood pressure, you
And
have
we become overweight.
high cortisol. They
And
call it cortisol phase. Girl, child, don't even give
yeah.
me. Mm-mm. Yeah,
Stress level, you're not sleeping well, your eating habits is off. Yeah.
heart disease. This is my
Yeah.
other ace, by the way. This my
Hi, Miss Jessica. How are you? She's the LOL, just high everything. That's why we
yes.
value the peace that we have once we're done. Like, you know what? I don't want to deal with that. I'm good. I
That's
need
it.
everything that's been up here to come all the way down so I can relax. Yes, the headaches, the anxiety, the depression, man, the suicidal thoughts, like all of that, the bipolar, being rapid manic, yeah, all of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
get rid of it. We pushed it down, like we push it down and
And
keep
let's go and let's go ahead and keep this a buck. Narcissists don't necessarily have a narcissism problem. Narcissists have a disconnection from self problem. They are so disconnected from themselves. Like the layers are so thick. The layers are so thick that it would take something major to take a look at themselves. And then if you think about it, just what I just said, you have to be able, in order for you to heal, you have to be able to hear some funky shit about yourself, right?
yeah,
If this mug is wearing a mask that is this thick,
yeah,
he's got to get through all, or
all
she.
of that.
Ooh, let's talk about the
Or she,
she's.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
men are also out here suffering from narcissistic abuse and nobody wants to
From
talk
women.
about, girl.
You see, I wish the guys no, nope, we got
I
this.
do. I do. Because listen, I'm going to tell you right now, there are 4 different types of narcissists. Let me see if I can bring this back up because we talked about them last week, right?
Yeah, we did.
Grandiose narcissism, covert
Yeah,
narcissism,
yes.
malignant narcissism, and then communal or altruistic narcissism. Female narcissists are going to show up at 2 or 4. Covert narcissists, or they're going to be
Mhm.
the altruistic narcissists. I'm going to do everything and give everything. I'm going to give $20 million. I'm going to post about it 85 times on social media, and I need you to love me. Don't love me, just admire me. Don't love me for real, because loving somebody means that you can accept all the parts of them. But how can you really love somebody if that person is not showing all parts of them? I'm going to let that linger. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to put myself on mute.
The first person that came to mind when you said that was Oprah.
Mm-mm.
We have our number at the bottom, 832-479-9035. If anybody want to call in and just give encouraging information to those who have finally left a narcissistic relationship, on how to heal, on how to move forward, and also what to expect in moving forward, because you still have those moments that bring you back, but you have to remind yourself when you get into that headspace that how they treated you is not really all on you, it's them,
I want to
because
go
they're
ahead and
broken inside. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I talk a lot, girl. My ADHD be
Baby, I
ADHD,
love
right?
it. I love it.
I
We did good tonight. The guys, y'all missed out.
Okay, so I want to finally answer this question, because the question is, what questions should you consider when you're deciding to heal from narcissistic abuse? One of the first ones, so I put this, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I put this in Chat GPT, and it came up with some questions that I really like. Like the first one is what emotions am I feeling? Let's go ahead and keep this above. When I first started processing the narcissistic abuse, I just felt rage. I didn't know that I was feeling other things that were up underneath that. I
Angry,
didn't know what I was feeling.
embarrassment,
But
shame.
it's, yes, guilt. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, betrayal. And the betrayal
The
was not
betrayal.
just at them, it was at me, because I betrayed myself so much.
Yeah. Dealing with it.
So what am
Dealing
I
with
feeling? Yes.
it.
What emotions did you feel when you first found out?
Every anger. I still have moments of anger. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have like flashbacks of certain things that has happened in the past, and like I dealt with that shit. It pisses me off because when I met him, I was like, I'm so far removed from the bullshit that he brought into my life to uncover the bullshit that was buried deep within me. But let's go back. You know what I'm saying? Honey, I was headed in a different direction, and this man convinced me that he was going in the same direction, and I wanted him.
I moved from one end of the country to the other end of the country.
Man,
Yeah, I get it.
when I say they can pretend to be somebody that they're not,
But let me tell you something. Once you uncover the rage, and you start to dig into that thing, and you start to accept the rage, then you realize that it was a lot of other stuff that you felt. You know what I'm saying?
I wanna hit on something Erin said. She said once you start to heal, you attract better. Yes and no. When it comes to a narcissist, because I was when he met me, I was on my shit. They like women like that.
They do.
They not gonna deal with somebody that don't have anything to offer them. They don't care what it is. You have to be able to be giving them something. They are, like she said in the beginning, they are takers.
Yeah.
What do you have for me to take? So it doesn't matter, after you've dealt with the narcissist, now you know what to look for.
So can I say something else? Because I thought that was during the first years. I thought that was the issue too. I've been in a couple of narcissistic relationships, and after a while, I blamed everybody else for the longest time. Then I was like, you know something? There's a common denominator. It's me.
Yeah, that was my first one.
Yeah.
I've been in first one.
I've been in a few. Like I said, I'm ADHD, and the novelty, right? It just like it kind of, you know what I'm saying? So, and I wanted to read Jessica's Jessica's statement. She said, healing for me included knowing that it's a PTSD situation. Even though I was out of it, yes, there were still traces of it everywhere. And it literally, it can change it can change the way you think. It can change your
Man,
body composition, and that's a scientific fact.
yes.
Trauma can change your body situation. So here is the thing. Once I started reconnecting with me, and I realized that up under the anger, I had to grieve. I had to here is the big one. I had to grieve that who I had built them up to be in my mind wasn't it. And if they wasn't it, and I'm a mirror of that reflection, then I am not what I built myself up to be in my mind. You know what I'm saying?
I was building myself up, baby, when he came along out of nowhere. And the conversation, the attention, because they know how to ask the right questions.
Yes.
To get to know who you are.
Yes.
They have to know who you are, because then they'll turn around and use that information to hurt you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They throw that out.
Yeah.
They throw that out.
Yeah.
And don't even know that they're doing it.
No, from what I hear, they know what they're doing it.
Yeah.
I've listened to mine, and I can go back to, he said something to me that stuck out on how he slept for a whole year, and he was in bed and he was depressed. And what happened to you to cause you to be in that situation? They're not ready to look at themselves. They made up their own set of rules, and that's what they live by.
Girl, and I get it, because like I said, once again, when I finally was ready to heal, and I had to realize that the common denominator was me.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, oh, I must have idiot written on my forehead. No.
I
was codependent. But I'm a good person, but I also have the propensity to do some bullshit. So just like Rhapsody says, someday I wear the cape and someday I need the saving.
I'm not in either one. I'm in the bed.
Come on, man.
Either one, I'm in the bed. I'm telling you, when I get up off this podcast, I'm gonna be in the bed. I'm about to go sleep. This is the most peace I done had in 6 years.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
And I was just talking to a friend today about so I just, full disclosure, y'all know I'm an open book. I came out of my relationship the end of last year, and it was way too long. Right? It was way too long because I was subsuming myself. I was accepting a lot of things within myself, but I still had that codependent mindset where if I fix him, and then I'm like, but I can't fix him. Right. I can. The serenity prayer is, God, give me the courage to change the things I can, the wisdom, the serenity to not change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So the only thing I can change ever is me. I couldn't change him.
Right.
People change when they decide to change. You know?
And from what I hear, when it comes to narcissistic people, that's just who they are. That's until they can acknowledge this is who they are.
Until they hit bottom and they hurt enough. Yeah. Until they hurt enough to the point where they're like, okay, I got to do something now.
Something different.
I got to do something.
Trust me, we had that conversation, me and him. He said something. So I need to change. I said, you can't change. Nothing's going to change because you haven't changed. Nothing is going to change because you haven't changed. Man.
And I want to put something else out there, right? When I started this journey, I promise. One of the things that I realized is that I had a very rigid idea of how somebody else should show up in the world. Oh, you don't agree with me? And that came from, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this a buck too. That came from my upbringing in the church. You can't disagree with me. Jesus is king. You're not allowed to disagree with me, because if you do, you're going to hell. right? So knowing that, girl, that the hamster caught it. It caught it again.
Yes, it
But
did.
knowing now that narcissists can't accept any reality except for the one that they have formed in their brains. You know what I'm saying? You can.
Here's the thing.
I
Yes,
have to be
sir.
able to. Come on, man,
You can't
Jada, you
change
are.
what you don't acknowledge. They don't think they doing anything wrong, baby. You know what? We on an hour now. We're on an hour now. I want to thank everybody for jumping on tonight's podcast.
They like,
The
where
brothers,
y'all
look,
going?
I I'm telling you, yeah. Does anybody want to call in, leave a comment, go right ahead. Um,
Girl, we
tonight's
have
show
come
has
through a
been
lot of
brought to
stuff.
you by Unhealed Trauma. Yeah.
My hamster just ran past. You know the hamster I got with the piccolo? He just ran past. And he was like, I'm not dealing with you. I'm not.
Tonight's podcast was brought to you by Unhealed Trauma. A lot of the topics that we talk about is unhealed trauma. When
And
are
how
we
do you
in?
heal?
Or, yeah, and how do you heal? We're
How
going to
do you
present you
heal?
with the problem, but we also have to give you the solution. So when you're
Mm.
on this journey after being in a narcissistic relationship, give yourself the same grace that you gave them while you were dealing with them, while you were literally begging them to love you.
Can we please answer Sergeant Major Witherspoon question real quick? Cause girl, come on. Ha! Ha! You ready? Or you want to sit back? You ready? I'll mute myself. I'll mute myself. Because I already know what the answer to
I'm
this
sorry.
question was.
Do you ladies think you were attracted to the dependency created by the narcissist, or the narcissist was attracted to you because they knew they could manipulate you? That's a yes, yes.
That is a both. It's called
Yeah,
the
yes, yes,
addictive, it's literally called the addictive tango. There is
yes.
this woman, there is this woman named Pia Melody. She writes about facing codependency, facing love addiction, facing toxic relationships, right? She writes about all of that stuff. And when I realized that he was attracted, they were attracted to the codependency in me. I was a people pleaser. I had no boundaries. You tell me, oh, you got to do this.
Man,
Okay, because I never wanted
given,
to feel rude, right? So
given.
I would give to it hurts. And that's what I learned
We
in my
give to it hurts.
church.
Yes, we
You
do.
give to it hurts. You give up yourself because God is going to make sure that you have everything that you have,
Yep.
right? And I did not understand that means that's standalone. That was never what I was taught. That is standalone. And I'm not trying to bash Christianity at all. I'm just talking about what I was taught. Okay.
Right.
So I'm gonna tell you that I was attracted to that because in my idea, I thought that a man was supposed to be the head, which means he was supposed to rescue me from myself. A man was supposed to rescue me from myself. And a man who wants to be like, oh, I like taking care of you. He is a man who wants to control you. Who wouldn't want that? Oh, I can control her subtly by telling her she ain't sugar honey iced tea. Oh yeah, I want to catch that.
And then they also have to get you emotionally attached early on by telling you that they were the victim in every last one of their relationships.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And what was I believing? Oh yeah, you're right. They just treated you so bad because they can't.
yes.
If they
Yeah,
can't take
you also,
accountability,
why would they do you like that? Oh,
if they can't, there's always two sides to a story, and I honestly believe that. That's why for me, for these days, I lead with my accountability of my
there you
bullshit.
go.
I
There you
lead
go.
with it
There you go.
because the more that I'm able to say out loud, this is the stuff that used to shame me, but it always has to have light because I am a good person, but this is a part of me too. This is also a part of me. Girl.
I can't be that person to walk around like nothing ever happens to me. I done been through some shit. That's basically what you just said. And here it is. Some people are still going through it right now. Some people are in the middle of it right now, in the thick of it
Yeah.
now. Hey, when you get up out of it, love yourself. Heal yourself.
Yes.
Take a trip down memory lane and start to uncover all that stuff that you pushed down. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But start asking the questions. Start asking yourself the questions. How did I believe that this was okay? Because that's where it was. That's where it was. So how did I believe that this was okay? My boundaries have been violated. So how can I enforce them now? How did I ignore these red flags? Where did I see these red flags? My girl, go ahead.
What type of relationships was you surrounded by when you was a child coming up? What was your examples?
I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Come on.
That
Come
we
on.
seen mama and grandmama go through so much and still stick by a man, and we thought that
That's what we was.
okay.
Girl, we might need a part 3.
Oh,
Listen, because that's a whole bar right there.
yeah.
That's a
Because how
whole
many of
series.
us grew up actually seeing what a relationship, a healthy relationship, is supposed to look like? She said, "Oops, baby, I was there."
She sure did.
I'm just saying.
My cousin said, "Say part 3."
Okay, what's gonna be the title?
Girl, we still got some shit to talk about these narcissists. That's what
I'm just saying. We can do women narcissists next time we come back.
Who ready? No, I'm dead ass serious. Who is ready? Because
women
it's gonna be.
Oh yeah, they're very manipulative. They're very, very manipulative.
Who is ready though?
My homegirl, I know what she went.
That's my girl. That's my girl from high school. Yeah, ain't girl. But let's before we get off, let's talk about who is ready. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, when we start talking about these female narcissistic traits, some of y'all gonna be like shot fired. Some of y'all gonna be like shot fired.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I'm gonna say it again. Tonight's podcast was brought to you by Unhealed Trauma. I want to thank you for coming in on tonight's podcast with me and Ivy. Damn, girl, we did that shit.
We did, man.
We did that. I want to thank everyone who stopped by and left a comment. We really appreciate you all watching. If y'all are on YouTube right now, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget about the Facebook group that we have. We always post questions concerning the next topic. Feel free to join in. Oh,
I can't. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
How's that? This is the type of reality TV we need on. Great job, ladies. Thank you.
Thanks, Major.
He came up with our mission statement. Miss Ivy did, giving back which is lost. And we got to start with self. We got to heal all that shit.
People of the diaspora, we lost so many things in that diaspora. From being people of chattel and coming over here and learning unhealthy coping mechanisms. Let's get back to self. So here,
absolutely.
I'm gonna here we're gonna give back that which was lost. We're gonna talk about our stuff, and hopefully you find some healing. Hopefully you find something that you resonate in all of it.
Because we're not afraid to be an open book. You know what? We should do a Q&A one day. Anyway, thank you. I usually say John, you got me, but tonight, Ivy, you got me.
You bet.